again! I'm so glad that you've joined me for another video of Jenna Draws the World. Where we left off last time, I stopped in the middle of the Peloponnesian War. So, without further ado, let's jump right back into the Peloponnesian War Part 2. Where the last video ended, I said that Sparta and Athens were on a collision course towards each other because they both were expanding empires that wanted to grow. Well, the Peloponnesian War is divided up into three parts actually. So the first phase was called the Archidamian War, named after the Spartan king. So this phase is characterized by actually a stalemate between the two city-states. So this was because Sparta was very excellent at fighting on land, but Athens had a great navy. So battles swung back and forth due to these specific strengths, preventing either side from achieving a decisive victory. So the results of the first phase of the war was just a lot of destruction for both sides due to the sieges, the raids, the naval encounters. Okay, so when we think of phase 1, just think of a deadlock that resulted in destruction. Okay, so here's a lock that I'm going to draw, and I'm going to make it dead with a machine gun in its hand. So you remember that Archidamian War, phase 1, no-win situation, destruction. Yeah, let's make sure that lock is dead. Okay, so now I want to explain something very important before jumping into part 2. At one point in the war, this is still during phase 1, Pericles, the leader of the Athenians, told his people to retreat into the city of Athens for protection. When so many people were crammed into this region though, the worst possible thing happened, and that was the deadly plague broke out. So this is like COVID, but much worse. Many people died, including, unfortunately, the great leader Pericles. Alright, so this brings us to phase 2 of the war, the Peace of Nicaeus. So apparently the Spartans had a little soft spot for Athens, because when the plague hit, both sides were like, okay guys, we have to chill for a second. This is getting pretty bad. Eventually, both sides agreed to a truce, known as the Peace of Nicaeus. Intended to last 50 years initially, but unfortunately, it only held up for about 6 years. So during this fragile peacetime, Athens launched an ill-fated Sicilian expedition. It suffered a catastrophic defeat that suffered and weakened its military. So Athens tried to conquer another land, conquered Sicily, during this peacetime after their great leader died, and yeah, as you expected, it failed catastrophically. So this takes us to phase 3 of the war, and it's called the Ionian War. With Athens slowly crumbling in front of our eyes, the winner of the war is starting to become pretty obvious. So during this time, Sparta started getting help from its former enemy, Persia. Okay, so now the militaristic Sparta and the huge nation of Persia are attacking this poor, sick, leaderless city-state of Athens. So Athens finally surrendered in 404 BC. But this war did major damage to both sides because of the drawn-out fighting and years of damage. Ancient Greece was actually never ever the same again. And it eventually became vulnerable to other powers that we'll see later in history. Okay, so to sum up this video, the Peloponnesian War had 3 phases. The Archidamian War, which was the deadlock, the Peace of Nicaeus, which was after the plague and lasted for 6 years, and the Ionian War, which resulted in the surrender of Athens in 404 BC. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on another video of Jenna Draws the World.